3, 2, 1. All right, y'all. So welcome to day 5 of my study month. Today I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm doing. We're going to look into some comics and we're going to make something happen today. So as you can see, I just got so many comics. And this is not even half of it, y'all. This is just some of my favorites. And I didn't pull out any single issues. I try to keep it more volume based. It's a little bit easier when I'm doing stuff like this. Oh, cool manga if you guys haven't read it. Really cool. The way the artist, the way she leads the eye is just top tier. I love it. I'll probably do a study of. That's one of my favorite pages. I had to put a little bookmark right there. I had to make sure I bookmarked that. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I know from what I've already looked at that I really liked the way this scene was done, this panel. Where are you? Yeah. This panel, I like the coloring. Of course, I'm not really doing coloring, but I like the strong shadowing on it. So I might try to do something like that. So that's one. And I don't know. It's one of my favorite volumes from Black Science, Volume 4. This one made me cry a little bit. But just the art in here is just insane. The colors are insane. And it's a heavy-hitting emotional story as well. And you're just traveling through the galaxy. Where is the page? I think I didn't actually mark the page. There it is. This. I love this. So yeah, I might do like these two panels. This one and this one. And this one is going to look wildly different because, I do have a female character in Toilet Paper Trash, but I haven't quite narrowed down her design, so maybe this is the time to try it. Her name is Seline, and she's a thieving raccoon from the lower city in Toilet Paper Trash. And maybe I'll do that. That could be cool. Okay, so we'll do these two. Alright, so this was my first study of the day, taken from Black Science, art by Matteo Scalera. Let's see, what did I learn? Not necessarily learn, but more of reinforcement of the idea with contrast, right? So we have two cool things of contrast playing right here, which is awesome. We've got the idea of a whole lot of detail and no detail, or very little detail, right? That automatically pulls you to that. But you're also getting pulled to this face because of another form of contrast, right? This big white area surrounded by all this dark, right? And then you got all these lines kind of leading you up into it. Let's see, any other contrasts? Well, simple versus complex, right? This is a simple human form, right? Like you can barely tell that this is Ian McKay from Black Science, but since it's in a comic page in the panel, they can get away with stuff like that. But regardless, right, it's all simple here and complex over here with all these cracks and all this plant matter growing everywhere. And then what, the foreground, middle ground, background, right? Like these dragonflies here kind of solidify our foreground, right? That and this darkness. And then this is definitely what I'd say the midground, right? And then the background would be like these things, some of these floating boulders. The clouds were supposed to come in a little bit more, but I didn't start in the right place. I just went in straight with the pen and messed up. But that would have created more of a background shape here and kind of made this area feel a little bit more whole. I don't know, that's my thoughts of it. It's definitely helped me think about those concepts a little bit more and try to figure out how I can apply them to my own work. Three, two, one. Alright, so that was my study from Black Science. It was actually from volume 4, titled God World. I think it was the 3rd issue. That's what this one's from. But now time for the next. So we're going to do this panel, which is basically just a character panel. I do really like all these little water droplets here. And this is basically just a silhouette, right? There's some backlighting, right, that helps define some of the forms. Right, just a little bit of lighting coming in to help pick some of these things out. And then they didn't silhouette the face, which is good, right? If I would have done it, like a year ago, I probably would have silhouetted the face. But I'm learning you don't always need to follow the rules to the T, right? So we're going to turn this scene into my character Seline from Toilet Paper Trash. And this is actually the first time somebody has seen Seline. So this is going to be dope. First time. Woo! Alright, so this is one of my favorite concept arts I've done of Seline so far. It's still very rough. I have not done my character sheet for her yet. So she's subject to change. But this is pretty much the design. So in the lower city of Toilet Paper Trash, it's basically a bunch of animal hybrids that live there. And the whole society's kind of messed up down there. It's fend for yourself type of deal. So she is a thief. That's what her dad has raised her to become. And she eventually joins Adam and Luca on this journey of good and evil, basically. And she helps. Alright, so now we're going to try to draw her in this cool pose. So let's try this out. Alright, so this is Seline in this pose. And now comes the challenge of replicating all of this darkness. It looks simple, just make it black, but there's strategic things that are left to help identify form. And I have a little bit more form. So it's going to be a little tough. We'll see. Alright. So I think my plan of attack is to just outline everything first with this. And then we'll go from there. So while I'm doing this, we could talk a little bit about Seline. So she's introduced in issue 2 of Toilet Paper Trash. and we find her and her father about to steal from this open market type of deal. It's got like it's a big area with a bunch of salespeople basically selling like vegetables and meat, and if you've ever been to like a farmer's market, that's basically the vibe. And they run into Terry, who is the evil toilet paper roll mutant, and he is trying to build followers because Terry is all about the religion of Stan. Stan was his creator, and his job is to spread the religion basically as far as he can. And I don't know if I want to get into the surprise factor, but we'll just talk about it like this. Terry starts using his toilet paper tentacles and steals a bunch of people. And one of the people that was stolen was Seline's dad. And she tries to save him, and she gets her butt handed to her because she has this dagger. She tried to save him, but she couldn't. And that's how she'll eventually pair up with Adam to try to save her dad. So I'm trying to make this feel fluffy. Fluffy and comic-y. Right, so I don't want to put a lot of detail, especially since I'm about to silhouette it. But Seline is a raccoon. If you've ever okay, let me restart. I've petted a wild raccoon before. It was a little spicy. It was at my mom's house, and they had this pile of wood in the back, and for some reason this kind of younger raccoon was just holding up there. It was taking refuge basically under this pile of wood, and I just sat there and just kind of stuck my hand out hesitantly. I would not suggest this because, I mean, the odds of them biting you, it just depends on how you catch them, but this one I could feel the moment. It wasn't going to bite me. And it came out and I was able to pet it, and it sat there and let me pet its head, scratch its head, scratch its back. The hair on a raccoon is very stiff, kind of coarse hair, somewhat not the same, but if you've ever touched a horse, right, some of their hair can feel similar. It's very interesting. I love trying to pet wild animals. It may eventually kill me, but I don't know, I just love nature, man. And I don't know, for some reason I think I have this ability to just bond with a wild animal. Like I've petted a raccoon, I've saved a snapping turtle. It got stuck. Well, I guess it wasn't really saved, but I escorted this snapping turtle to the water. It was off the path, and I picked it up and and put it in the water. I played with it for a little bit, like um, as long as you stay on the back end of the snapper, you'll be okay. So that's what I did, and that's how I escorted it back to the water. It definitely tried to bite me, so there was no bond that I shared with this animal, but that was cool. I've almost pet a deer, a wild one. I've pet deer in like a petting zoo, but a wild one, they're very skittish. And I was out in the woods by myself, just drawing, and I found this little deer, a little Bambi type of thing, and I got really close. I got about 10 feet from it, and it was fine with it until I started making cat noises. I started going and pss, 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 and that was a no-go. Don't make cat noises at deers. They don't like it. Let's see, I've petted birds. I don't know, I just love petting animals. I just love animals, man. But back to this, the whole reason I brought it up is like I've met a raccoon before, so that wasn't the immediate translation to why I made a raccoon character. The main reason was I needed somebody from the lower city, and I needed them to be a thief for a later part in Toilet Paper Trash. And at first I was going to do a fox, but God, a fox is everywhere. So I decided against that. And what I was looking at, what bird? A magpie? Is that the? It was either that or a corvid, like a raven. I was looking at them to try to find somebody who fit what I needed, but it felt better to go the mammal way and have a mammal human character. So I ended up choosing a raccoon, and it really only took about 30 sketches, 30 little thumbnails. I'm talking like barely the size of her tail to really get to a solid spot. Now, I still don't have consistency with her yet, but I haven't done her turnaround sheet yet, so once I do that, I'll really understand how to draw her. But this is like my first showing of this character, and she's a hothead. She is quick to anger, and she hates humans because in Toilet Paper Trash, the humans, they take all the good resources and they've made all the animals live in this. They made all the animals live in the lower city, which is war torn and run down. And the whole city is surrounded by a wasteland of their own doing. It's all from war, but regardless, it's kind of just like the wild west down there. And I don't even know where I was going with this. But yeah. So she has a hatred towards humans because they forced her people to live in this terrible setting, and after her father is taken from her, she hates the toilet paper mutants, which there's only two for now. Luca, which is one of the good characters, and Terry, who is the bad one. Yeah, so how she befriends this group of Adam and Luca, that's going to be an interesting thing to write. Let's see if I can do it or not. Alright, so it's done. One thing I noticed that I forgot was she's kind of almost 3-point perspectived a little bit. But I think I overall captured the vibe. That darkening the entire thing is, it's kind of a fun but hard thing to play with. Right at the end of the day, if you make any mistakes, you could use one of these gel pens right here to kind of come back in and tidy up some areas, because if this was a panel, it would be scanned and then leveled out, and that, yes, this white may look a little different, but it will rectify itself once you actually scan it. And it was pretty fun. I liked this one. It was challenging, and I think this was a perfect example of the kind of master copy that will help push you to another level, right? Because this one, I switched I forget what Batgirl this is right now, but one of the Batgirls out for my character, who has different clothing, but similar clothing, has a tail, which I don't know if I really achieved what I was looking for here. It is interesting. But yeah, it was definitely more of a challenge for sure. So I'm very happy that I did it. And I hope you do it too, right? I hope you guys try it out too, because this didn't take too long, right? It's visually impactful, but this is a pretty simple scene, right? It's a character with very limited idea of a background, right? This is probably more simple to draw than something like this one, where there's perspective and it's turned a little bit. I guess it depends on your skill level as well. So I don't want to discourage you if you try this and it is hard, because it will be hard. I can't sugarcoat that. It will be hard. But you do it a couple times, and the more skill you gain, the easier it is. And just know it's never going to look exactly the same unless you trace. Right, you could trace it and then modify it if you wanted. Tracing, I've tried tracing before as a learning technique, and it's walking the line of mindless or forcing yourself to think about what you're doing, right? So I found the tracing training method not as fruitful as doing it to actually drawing it. Now if you're struggling, like I probably should have just tried to draw the exact lines that they did for this hand, because my hand looks a little wonky compared to this one, and you can kind of see why this is a little bit more It's a little bit more straight, mine's a little bit at an angle. So I messed that part up. But I still would suggest master copies. Now I want to try to do a little less of these for the next couple of videos, because God, what, this is like the 4th video in a row doing a master copy. But I do think I'm learning the most doing this stuff. Hi, Yall. So thanks for joining me for day 5 of my training month. And I encourage you to try it out yourself and see what you think. See if it works for you. I promise the next video will not be a master copy. I don't know exactly what it'll be. We'll figure it out. Peace.